Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. More like welcome me back to my channel. I have not uploaded a video in a year or maybe even longer than a year. I am so sorry that I've been gone so long. That's why I wanted to share this video with you guys today. It is a life update, kind of where I've been video, because I've had several, events happen over the past year that have made it so I can't film or even not had the desire to film. So yeah, I just want this to be like a nice little casual chit chat video. I'm literally sitting in my bedroom and I just want to tell you guys what's been going on and why I haven't been able to film. So I'm trying to think where to start exactly. About a year ago, probably almost this time last year, our computer broke, and that was the first thing that happened that kind of made it so that I wasn't able to film. I have a MacBook that I've been using over a few years that has given us lots of issues for a while. Long story short, I actually spilled coffee on it not too long ago, and so that caused some issues, as you can imagine. And we did get it fixed, and then I started doing more and more videos, and I got an external hard drive and plugged it in, and it crashed the computer. So, computer broke. That's kind of where this all starts. Obviously, without a computer where you have an editing software, it's really hard to create quality videos. And then the first big event that happened was in October of last year. My husband's mother's husband, so our stepfather, he was in a really bad accident. He was riding his bike near his work and was hit by a car. And funny enough, he's actually been hit by cars a few times while riding his bike over his lifetime, which is kind of odd, but so he has experience in being hit by cars, you could say. And he, got up and thought, I'm just fine, I feel fine, and refused to go to the hospital. Well, about 2 in the morning, my mother-in-law calls us, hysterical, and she says, Robert is unconscious in his office, the police are coming, I need you guys to get down here. And they were about almost a half hour away from us at the time. And so we start booking it down there, they tell us what hospital to go to, and turns out he was hit by a car, refused to go to the hospital, and did not tell anyone. Went back to his office alone and ended up going unconscious there, and was probably unconscious for 4 to 6 hours. And his brain began to swell and bleed, and was totally full of blood, and he had multiple fractures in his skull, which he did not know. And a lot of people that have serious brain injuries like that, they actually can go about 30 or so minutes feeling totally fine, and then they go unconscious just like he did. So really scary. We arrived to the hospital before we really knew any details, and we instantly knew it was really serious because we were put into this little room, and they assigned us like a, I don't know if you'd call it like a counselor or that person that kind of is there when there's something really serious like this. So definitely knew it was serious because I've never had that happen before. And they kind of started to tell us what his situation was, and they said that he needed to go into surgery immediately to get the blood out of his head. So they ended up letting us go back into his room, and that's where it got really, really serious and intense for us. He was on the bed, unconscious, head was about this big, like I said. His body was shaking uncontrollably. Nurses were sticking things in him anywhere they could, and it was one of the most terrific things I've ever seen, and really just scary, and it's just a horrible feeling I was feeling at the time. I've never been in a hospital with a family member or anyone who's been super sick or, almost dead. So it was really, really scary. And they pretty much told us that we needed to say our goodbyes at that moment because they didn't think he was going to make it through surgery. So that was not good. It got very emotional from there on. So, we technically said our goodbyes, and we went to the waiting room, and about 4 hours later, they came back and said he made it through surgery. He is alive, but he's still very unconscious. And from that point on, it was about 4 to 5 days we spent at the hospital. He was unconscious for all this time, not making any progress, and was considered basically brain dead at that point. And we had gotten with his family and our family, and we had pretty much, you know, made donation decisions, and, you know, the doctors were saying, at this point, you probably should pull the plug, which is really, really hard to, you know, talk about and kind of think about. But basically, they had no idea what his life was going to be, and the chances of him waking up were extremely slim. And if he did wake up, he would probably be a vegetable based on his injuries. So obviously, hearing that, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Like, there's got to be a chance. Maybe he'll make a recovery. Will he not? Do I want to live the rest of my life? You know, my mother-in-law is thinking, do I want to live the rest of my life having to take care of this guy who, you know, is completely pretty much a vegetable and can't do anything on his own? And she knew that he did not want to live that life. She knew that about him. So basically, it was like the 5th or 6th day in, and we went in and met with the doctor like we did every day, and he had not really told us much yet, and my sister-in-law walks in and says, he just pointed at me. Our stepfather just pointed at me and opened his eyes, and all of us are like, no, you're joking, like, this can't be real. And then our doctor was able to tell us that he actually had woken up that night and made a complete 180 in progress. I mean, he was literally considered brain dead the night before. It's insane. So we all booked it in there, obviously, and he was pretty awake. You know, he kind of had a hard time opening his eyes. He wasn't able to talk or anything. It was just very, like, you know, he was very still, and he could open his eyes and move his hands a little bit. So that was that, you know, he made his decision and he was alive. So basically, you know, he spent the next 3 to 4 months in many different rehabilitation facilities, and had to learn how to walk and talk, and had breathing tubes and feeding tubes, and it was a very long process. And so that's what we were doing for the next few months was, you know, being there for him every day and being there for our mother-in-law, because she, you know, had a complete life change. He was the supporter and the caretaker, and so she had to start figuring out what their life was going to be next, you know, and where they were going to go and how they were going to pay for things. And because, I mean, he literally could not go to work anytime soon. So yeah, so he is alive, and he made a pretty crazy good recovery. There was a few things for sure, like he lost his scent completely, and he's, you know, pretty confused. And, you know, that, I don't know, I think that's getting better, but he was very confused, and there was a few things that were off, as you can imagine, with multiple brain injuries, but he was doing pretty good, and it's kind of a miracle that he survived. So yeah, that was basically a good chunk of the year that we spent there, like, you know, just dealing with that. So one of the big things that came from that accident is we had to move. We have been living in my husband's grandma's house for a few years, trying to, you know, save money and hopefully get into a home. And but we weren't ready yet. And because of this accident, his mother needed to come in and live where we were living. So obviously we knew we had to move out, and so we started looking at apartments, and they were just so expensive. You get like the smallest amount of space, and it just was not making sense for us to rent. So we looked into what we would need to do to buy a home, and turns out we actually were able to get a home loan and buy a home. So that's something really exciting actually that happened over the past year. We did buy a home, and we absolutely love it. As you know, buying a home is extremely expensive, so you know, again, I just haven't been able to get a new computer and the things that I would like to get for filming to continue doing YouTube videos. Basically, over the past few months, we've just been working on our house and trying to get it, you know, where we want it, make it our own. And then some other things that happened were we went on a few vacations. Eric's job, my husband Eric, his job actually provided us a couple different vacations. We got to go to Hawaii in March, and that was so needed after everything we had been through. It was the most beautiful place, and we went to Maui, and it was just breathtaking. If you ever get to go to Maui, you should be excited because it's amazing there. And then just a few months later, we got to go to California and stay at the Ritz-Carlton at Laguna Beach, which was also beautiful, and it was just such a nice trip. Then I started 2 new jobs, I think, since the last time that I filmed. I am working at a dermatology office, and I also work at a spa taking clients. So I'm pretty busy between the 2 jobs. I'm not making money on YouTube yet, unfortunately. Obviously, I would love to get there because YouTube is what I'm really passionate about, and I would love to do this full-time sometime, but you know, I am working now, so I'm pretty busy, and I hope to be able to start doing at least 1 video a week again for you guys, and then hopefully even more a week in the future if I can get there. So I'm doing the best that I can, and my husband actually just started a new job, so we've just kind of been, it's just been one thing after another over the past year. So he actually got laid off for a little bit from his previous job, which we were so sad about, but he did start his new job and he's gonna love it. It's gonna be great. So now I'm ready to start getting back into the swing of things. I have missed doing YouTube videos terribly. I seriously complain to my husband like once a week. I'm like, babe, I really want to film. Like, I hate that I can't upload. I'm probably losing subscribers. And surprisingly, I have not lost any, I don't think. So thank you guys for sticking around. I think the last exciting thing that I have to share with you guys is we got a new family member. She's a puppy. Her name's Kona. You guys have seen Woody, our first dog, a few times in some videos. We adopted him about 4 years ago, and Kona we just adopted a few months ago. She's probably almost 7 months old, and she's a Chihuahua mix, just like Woody. So I'm gonna grab her so you guys can see her. So this is Kona. She is so cute and cuddly most of the time. She has a bone in her mouth that she does not want to get up, so that's what you're seeing right there. She's definitely been keeping us busy. Getting a puppy is kind of like having a baby. She is very rambunctious and she chews on my shoes and bites my fingers, but she's adorable and we love her. So she's done. And here's Woody. You guys remember Woody? He loves the camera. No, he just loves being next to me, honestly. Both of these dogs are attached to my hips and will never leave me alone. We love both of them and they have brought us so much joy, so we really wanted to get Woody a friend before Eric and I started thinking about even having children or anything, because Woody is pretty high maintenance and he really needs a friend. So I'm sure you guys will see both of them, you know, hanging out in many of my videos because, like I said, they won't leave me alone. So I think that is everything. I'm pretty sure I've hit everything I can remember that's happened over the past year. I really appreciate those of you that have stuck with me and, you know, have been patiently waiting for another video from me. But like I said, I'm really excited to get back into things and hopefully can get a video up every week for you guys. I do have a video coming up next Tuesday, which I think is October 17th, and it's going to be a fall makeup tutorial, and I'm very excited about that one. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little chit chat video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!